Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to continue that series of walking through all the parts in their current state of the alpha, and we're going to go through the Epic Archon parts today. So we're going to quickly go through the parts that are on the Epic Archons, and then we'll go ahead and look at it in the hall, and then we'll get into the gameplay. So the first part is going to be the mind part called Emergence. The second part is the body part. It's called Fission. And the third part is the soul part called Geokinesis. All right, let's go ahead and look at the hall and see what it looks like. So again, we're looking for the Archon icon, which is this icon right here. We're looking for that purple border showing that it's an Epic Archon, and we're looking for all blue buttons or circles there. So there we go. Here we go. There's the Archon icon, there's all blue buttons, and there's the purple border signifying the Epic. So there we go. All right, let's see if we can get a little closer here. Yeah, there we go. So there's the Epic Archon, just all purple. Kind of makes sense. All right, so we also know that it is a void affinity based on the green icon here. And we get that by making sure that we have two or more parts that are of the same affinity type. So we can see that Emergence, the mind part, has the void affinity, the body part, Fission, has the void affinity, and the soul part, Geokinesis, has the void affinity. So like I always say, 3 is greater than 2 here, so it's simple math that dictates that it's going to be the void affinity Archon. All right, let's get into the gameplay. All right, so the first ability we're actually going to use is going to be the soul part. Let's go ahead and read it. Geokinesis. Attack enemies in your presence, then raise the spaces at the edge of your presence by 1. So that is specifically saying it's going to be an area of effect skill. So any enemy incarnates that are inside of your presence, and again, your presence is you have a stat of 3 here. So 1, 2, 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3 spaces. Anywhere in this kind of circular area based on the 3 spaces will actually be attacked. Then it's going to raise the spaces at the edge of that presence, so along the very outer edge of the presence, by 1 space. And you can see the highlights here are showing the spaces that are actually going to be raised. Again, we can't raise any spaces back here because there are none, but it is showing that these spaces are going to be raised. So let's go ahead and use it and see what it does. That animation's so cool. It's just attacking everything inside that presence, and then you saw every space in that edge of the presence got raised, so that's working pretty good. All right, let's move on to the next skill. And the reason I used the Geokinesis ability the first time was to lead into this mind part, and we'll go ahead and read it. It's called Emergence. Create a rift on top of all of the highest spaces at the edge of your presence. Now, I did test this out a little bit earlier, and it wasn't working as I thought it would be working, so I clarified with the developers. This is, in fact, supposed to be based on your the direction that you're looking. So it's not really at the edge of your presence. It's going to be at the edge of the presence, but in front of you. So I think the text is going to be updated to be a little bit more clear. That way, we're not getting any confusion through how this is supposed to work versus what the text says. So what it's going to do is going to create a rift on top of all the highest spaces at the edge of your presence. You can see that all of the spaces are in front right now. And using that Geokinesis skill first allowed me to get all of these parts raised up by 1 and effectively making them the highest space in my presence. So I can go ahead and use this, and I'll create a rift on top of each of those. So let's go ahead and use it and look at the cool animations. Yeah, so there you go. There are all the rifts. That's what a rift looks like in this game. You know, a little portal, pretty much. Looks pretty cool. And now we've kind of surrounded this enemy incarnate with those rifts. So what they do is they kind of block line of sight because they are objects, and then they soak up damage pretty much. That's kind of the intent of the rifts. It's really not to be super damage dealing, but they're there to prevent enemies from getting to certain locations or seeing certain places because they do block that line of sight. All right, let's go ahead and get to the last skill. All right, so we're going to get into the last skill called Fission. It's the body part. And here we go. Fission, destroy a rift in your presence, deal damage to enemies, and heal allies in area 3 of the rift based on its HP. So here's a couple things we need to take note of here. So we're going to destroy a rift, but that rift has to be within our presence, basically, or range of 3. So we can see 1, 2, 3. They're all within that range of 3. So we're going to be able to destroy any of those rifts. And then what it's going to do is based on the rift's HP, it's going to heal and do damage. So it's going to heal ally incarnates that are within an area of effect of 3 of the rift, not of the casting incarnate, but of the rift. So if we were to select this rift right here, we would end up actually going 1, 2, 3. So we would be able to heal or damage enemy incarnates out here, or heal allies that are out here as well. So remember, it's based on the area of effect of that actual rift. So my incarnate here has taken damage. It's within 3, so it should be healed. And then this enemy incarnate is also within 3, so it should be damaged. All right, let's go ahead and look at what the skill does. We'll go ahead and use this rift here to see what happens. There you go. So you saw the heal, you saw the damage, and you saw the rift being destroyed. So that's working perfectly. I do know that there are a couple changes being made to these skills a little bit to make them a little bit more balanced. They feel a little out of balance right now. Maybe not as strong as they should be for the part rarity type. So just know that, again, this is all based on alpha and its current state. We know that there's going to be changes, but this gives you a good understanding of the fundamentals of what these are expected to be. All right, and there you have it. We just went through all of the Epic Archon parts. We saw, the Archon is really going to be strong in manipulating the terrain. It's also going to have some abilities, support abilities, like summoning the rifts to block the path of enemy incarnates. It'll also have some healing involved there. It's going to be even stronger when we start putting Eternals onto those parts, because they will effectively gain more damage and gain more abilities. So it's going to be a really cool class. I'm excited for this one as well. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, feel free to hit the like button. If you like the content, definitely hit the subscribe button. And always, throw some comments my way. See what you enjoy. See what you don't enjoy. Where do you think these skills are going to be powerful? The next video I'm going to do is actually going to jump into the legendary parts. I'm going to skip over the epic Titan parts for right now. At least in my game, one of the skills is really bugged, and I'd rather show it fixed before I actually highlight it, because it's actually a really cool ability. So I hope you enjoyed, and appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you in the next one.